Welcome to Coronado Art of Living. Here with us today is Alejandra. Welcome, Alejandra.
Gracias. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you. No, thank you for joining me. And well, I'm going to present you today Alejandra. She's a Coronado resident and she just did an amazing trip to Costa Rica. And we're going to talk today about it. How do you feel?
I feel amazing.
Alexandra went to Costa Rica because, correct me if I'm wrong, is Ayahuasca week, right?
Yes, there's a retreat in Costa Rica at a place called Rhythmia, and they work with plant medicine, specifically with ayahuasca. And that was a very new experience for me, but it was a long time coming. And
Why did you choose Rhythmia? Why what made you feel like the right place for you?
Well, it's funny you asked that because it's something that definitely had been introduced to me or offered to me over the years, and I've been curious about. But I always felt this sensation of having a lot of respect for that. And so I didn't feel comfortable going just anywhere with anyone or. And so there's a dear friend of ours that recommended this place. And after doing a little bit of research, they are the only licensed clinic or facility, however you want to call it, in the world to work with plant medicine. And they are, I would say, from the experience that I had, probably the best in the world.
Wow. One question that I am curious about. Before you go, did you have any fear, insecurities, or about the process? What can happen?
100%. I think, well, and they told me over the phone, if you weren't nervous, that wouldn't be normal. I think everybody goes in with some sense of reservation, especially when it's your first time. And even people that have done it before still have this sort of nervousness because it's a very profound process. You're diving into the deepest parts of you and it's a very intimate experience and you're doing it with other people. So there's always a little bit of a nervousness around it, but I had to really mentally prepare to go. I was fighting with this, should I go? Should I not? Am I doing the right thing? Am I not? So I struggled a little bit to get myself there, but I
Of
made it.
course, of course, I think it's totally normal and valid, like I am very curious about it, and that's why I wanted to talk to you. And other people can learn from your experience and learn, and two, they can maybe if they're thinking about it or they're afraid of it, I think it's gonna be great, everything that you can tell us about it. Then for me now, let's go back. Let's say you go to the airport, you go to the plane to arrive to Costa Rica, right? Then what is the wow moment for you when you get to the retreat, right? Because it's like for the photos that I saw, it's like you are in the middle of the jungle, right?
Costa Rica is a very tropical place for sure, and you are in a essence a sort of paradise. In Costa Rica's paradise. I mean, I think it already has a great reputation as a country. There's a lot of honeymooners that go spend time in Costa Rica. The weather can be very extreme. It's very hot. I went just recently, December. It's their winter, but it was still very hot and humid. From the moment I arrived, I felt like I was in very great hands. I can honestly say, with all the traveling that we do as a family, and my husband and I, we've done a lot of traveling. We've been in some pretty elite places, and still this place by far has been the one that has impressed me the most in terms of the care that they take, the attention to detail. Everything is very, very, very well handled.
And to put it, sorry to interrupt you, but to put it in perspective, right, for people, I know you and I know your husband, your family, and you guys travel around the world. Like you guys know a lot of and good places, right? Like
Yes.
to then for me or for everybody to that is listening, right, that you are surprised and this place is kind of breathtaking for you is a big deal for me.
Yes, and plant medicine is usually associated with, being out in the jungle, you're roughing it, and that might be a very traditional way of doing it. You're in a hut and you have to like dig your own holes and you're with the ants and things like that. And that's certainly a way of doing it, but this place has managed to merge the two worlds, it just because already doing very hard work in going within and working with the medicine and all the healing that happens there. So they take care of us in all the other ways so
Can you
that it's not the suffering process.
could you please like walk us through, because I as far as I know, this 7-day experience, right? Could you walk me through it? Can you explain me
Yes,
how it works?
absolutely. And let me know if I'm rambling because I tend to get passionate
No,
and then
no,
I just keep talking,
that's
talking.
great.
But
No, no, we need passion here. We're
so
Latinos, man.
yes, yes, very passionate. So the shuttle picks you up at the airport. You're there with a group of people. You fly directly into Liberia or San Jose. And what's included in your package is they have a spa, so you get a massage. They have the cold plunge. They have the sauna. They have a gym.
They have sorry, they have something like when you go and they pick you up from the airport, like they it's like
Yes.
it's something. Can you explain me a little bit more? Like is something that is it's a guy that pick you up and that's it, or like is something way cooler? I don't know. I want to know more like about
It
everything. Like,
All
like
the details, yeah.
yes,
So
yeah, everything,
so
please.
the shuttle service is, you're in a van, you're with a group of people, and uh, they put on a video to start preparing you, which I really appreciate. But even from the moment they say that you start your ceremony, your retreat, from the moment that you commit to going. So they do a very good job of preparing you before you get there with
Even
the
before.
even before you get there. So they make sure that you are off any medication that you need to be off of. They need to make sure that you're not taking any supplements that can counteract the effects of the medicine. So they really do take care
Wow.
of you
Yeah.
from before you get there. They let you know what the weather's going to be like. They give you some insight on clothes to take and that sort of thing. And so in the shuttle service to the facility, they put on a video to prepare you with, there's a beautiful labyrinth that they have on the property, and a labyrinth is another spiritual tool to help sort of release things that you don't want anymore and adopt new traits or new things that you want to adopt or work on. So these labyrinths, they have them in different places around the world, and they have one there. So they kind of go through a little bit of some tips and guides on how to maximize your experience there. They really are very much like a well-rounded and a wholesome retreat. You're not just there for the plant medicine. They have yoga, they have breath work, they have classes to help integrate, and they are very specific about the importance of participating in each and every one of those things.
Good. Then of course, it makes sense. Then for me, as a they like we you said, they pick you up in the shuttle, they take you to the hotel, right? Then what is the first day look like? Like, do you eat something different? Do you, I don't know, like they have everything planned for you, or the first day is more like you can pick up, you can do yoga if you want, you can, or they tell you you need to do this and that, and it's more planned.
Yes, they already have a schedule built out for the week that you're gonna be there from depending on what time you get there. The moment you get there, they receive you or your group at the reception, if you will, and they give you a little bit of orientation. They give you your bracelet that they use to monitor, if you're going into a class, then you check in with your fob. They give you the keys to your room, they give you water, they give you a nice towel to refresh. I mean, it's like they
The
really cater
experience.
to you
Yeah.
from the very beginning. They give you snacks on the way of the shuttle to the retreat because I believe it's like depending on traffic, it's like a 2-hour drive from the airport to the facility. So, they understand that you've been traveling and that you might be hungry, but you're on this diet, which is very traditional and very important to watch what you're eating.
That's something that interests me. Like what it's about. Like what kind of diet? What can you eat? What
Yes.
you shouldn't be eating? Can you tell me more about this?
Yes, the dieta, as they call it, consists of removing all to the best of your ability, but especially meat products, animal products. I mean, I didn't go completely vegan. That's really difficult to do.
Yeah.
But I definitely started cutting meats, processed foods, any dairy. It becomes very, very, very restricting as you prepare your body or your body temple, as they say, for the experience. That way, it helps the medicine do what it needs to do without any crazy counteraction. So definitely medications. There's medications you should not be on, and there's certain supplements, and they're
Do you
very
have
meticulous.
do you have the knowledge? Which one, for example? If not, it's not. It's basically for people and it's hearing. Like, do you know something like?
Yes, I'm not too familiar with medications. I've been very fortunate to not need sleeping pills or anything like that. But the most common one was the medications for antidepressant medications. Those were really big. Definitely any pharmaceutical
Okay.
medications, you have to wean off of those. So you might want to go, next week and you get on the phone with them and they'll tell you, well, just let me know what you're taking. And those are for your own safety and for your own health, because there are definitely medications that you should not be taking with this medicine, and they're very professional about it, and ultimately, you have to be honest about
Do you
what
guys
you're
have
doing.
any kind of, because I saw even, I don't know if you saw that program on Netflix. It's called War and Waves or the War, something
Yes.
like that. I don't remember the
Waves
name.
and war,
Waves and War.
yes.
Then I think they have like a blood pressure every time, so all the time that they are doing the process. They have like some kind of like, they are measuring something. They do the same thing over there,
They're
or
being monitored with physicians. They don't go to the extent of monitoring you specifically. Like, they do ask you if you have any heart conditions, and it's more on the honor system in that sense. You're responsible for your body, but they do have a paramedic in site and they do have an on site doctor. They have a whole team of professionals. They really are about making you feel safe and knowing that, not just making you feel, but you really do understand from the moment you're there that you are in the safest place you could possibly be to do this.
those people that you're talking about, the facilitators, are they all the time around you guys, like controlling you, meaning like making sure that everything is safe for you?
Yeah, so it's like a team effort, right? They have this whole infrastructure. So there's the staff that takes care of the grounds, you have the gardeners and the housekeeping and the main staff, so to speak, that make sure that nobody's lost or nobody, if you need something, they're ready, willing, and able to assist with anything. You have the people that work at the spa, and everything is so cohesive. The people in the kitchen, you mentioned about the food there is amazing. It's very clean food. And I'm sure you've experienced this traveling yourself, but just getting outside of the US, you're already dealing with a different quality of food
Yeah,
already.
I am from
Yeah.
Europe, and I can
Yeah, yeah.
relate.
So already you're receiving such a higher quality of food, but there they really make it a point to make it as clean as possible. Lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, nothing processed. They have a juice packet, so if you wanna stay very hydrated, and it's like this sort of like an upgrade that you can do, you can purchase a juice packet, so they give you these little tokens that you can trade in breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you have your special juice, beet juice, aloe vera juice. I think it's the
Sounds
green
good.
juice
Sounds
is the
good.
one in the morning. It's amazing, it's amazing. Like, my husband came back and said, "We gotta do this at home. Like, how can we replicate this and bring it home?"
Then, okay, you arrive to the hotel. They give you the tour, everything. We agree that they remove medication or supplements that can affect to it. The food that they're giving you is less protein, right? More vegan,
They
right?
do have protein. They have chicken and they have fish, no meat.
Okay, no meat. I thought
No red meat, no pork.
good. Then after that, there is anything else like they give you to prepare for that moment?
So, for example, I arrived on a Saturday evening, and it was just enough time to sort of get the lay of the land, so to speak, and head to the room and call it a day. Unpack a little bit. And then yoga, they have yoga every day in the morning at 7. So I knew I was going to be up early for yoga. And then they have breakfast. And then you start with your classes. There's breathwork classes, there's classes to help you prepare for the ceremonies, because the first ceremony is on Monday. So Sunday for me was sort of like a chill day. I got my massage. You get to choose what day you want your massage.
Even the classes, everything, you get to choose when and how?
No, the yoga, the only thing you get to choose as far as the timing is, your massage, and you're welcome to more massages if you wanna. There's an extra charge for those, but what you pay initially is like, you have a massage included, and they're wonderful, by the way. Like,
Okay.
my husband and I have had our share of massages as we've traveled, and they're amazing. The
Okay.
other thing that's included that's to help you prepare is they have a colonic cleanse. So they have a clinic where you
That's interesting. Yeah.
do a
Yeah.
little
That's
bit more deep cleaning before you get to ceremony, which is an experience in it of itself if you've never done it. That's also
yeah. That's the
included.
question. That's the question that I wanted to go, and I am curious about. It is one day. Is different days. How it works?
You mean the ceremony with the plant
Yes.
medicine?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, that was so when you're working with the medicine, it's on Monday nights. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, and then Thursday you work with a medicine called yahe, which is like the Colombian version of ayahuasca. Ayahuasca originally is from the Amazon. So you work with those plant medicines those 4 days. And in the interim, you're doing your yoga every morning, you're doing your
Okay.
breath work
One
classes.
second to interrupt you, but what do you mean by work with them? You take them and what? Are you in a room? When you take them, they give it to you and you go to whatever? Or how is that work?
Okay, so the logistics of working with the medicine. So Monday night is the first ceremony. So starting Monday after 2 o'clock, that's your last meal of the day. So you have lunch, but you won't have dinner. So you're doing a little bit of fasting. You can have your juice, your aloe vera juice at like 4 o'clock, but ceremony starts at 5:30. So, you bring your comfortable clothes and
And you are in
everything.
a room with people?
Yes, it's called the
Okay.
maloca. The
Okay.
maloca is
Good.
like a sacred space, and that's also where they do the yoga and the breathwork classes. But a maloca traditionally, it's almost like a temple, if you will. It's a sacred space where you work with the medicine. So
Where the magic happens, right?
where the magic happens, exactly. So they do have a garden in front of the maloca with hammocks and a fire pit, and it's all part of the infrastructure of the ceremony. So they tell you, when you're going through ceremony, please don't go outside of these boundaries. You can go outside because it's also part of the experience to be in touch with the earth, to walk in the grass, lay down on the grass. You can look at the moon, connect with the moon, the stars. That's okay. But the main ceremony is inside of the maloca. And the fire pit is the grandfather spirit, and that has
Sorry
its
to interrupt you right
own
there, but
thing.
you mean it's inside because I'm sure like you lose kind of conscious or like where are you and what are you doing? Do you lose that? Or
You don't lose consciousness. So I went with a group of about 50 people. It's a pretty large group. I mean, I'm
wow,
sure
I
there's
didn't.
places, yeah. And they have groups. They can contain groups up to 100 people. They, like I said, they really go out of their way to make it comfortable for you. So you can imagine the size of the space to contain 50 people that are laying down in their own individual mattress and pillow with their what do you call it? Your tus vendas, your
Well, something that cover your eyes, something
yeah, yeah, your eye covers, exactly. Like the kind that you would use to sleep. So you have all this. So imagine there's 50 people and they each need a space. You have your famous buckets for the purging. And there's bathrooms.
because you can throw up, right? Like
Yes, it's
yeah, okay.
actually it's not a guarantee, but it's a probability that you
What is the probability? I want to know how
it's
much.
pretty high.
Pretty high. Okay.
So I think, and I would like to say this, I think it's very common to hear just, people tend to be a little morbid and tend to want to glamorize or dramatize something and create a lot of drama around things. So it's like they say, if you go to a restaurant and you have a bad experience, you're more likely to share that than if you have a good experience. So I think one of the reasons why ayahuasca gets such a this reputation and people are like, oh, ayahuasca, because they're very quick to share about the things that are not so comfortable about it, like the purging. Yes, you will probably vomit. Yes, you might, need to use the bathroom frequently throughout the night. And nobody's comfortable with that. It's not a comfortable process, but it can be a very profound experience once you understand the need for your body to do that.
How long does it take, the process? Or once that you take it, how long? you guys stay there?
So the ceremony begins roughly at around 5:30. The shaman will give some words of wisdom, will explain the logistics of things. They have a whole team of people that are sort of like the shaman's team, the spiritual team, if you will, and they're there to also help you with your journey. The journey will last, it depends, but it can last. We would start at 5:30, and sometimes we weren't back in our room until about 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely a process. It's not a quick process, but depending on your journey, it can go by very fast.
Then
And
you
sometimes you'd go to your room and you're sort of still processing
on
things.
it, no?
Yeah, yeah, you're still on. There's a moment of silence. There's a name for it, but it's escaping me right now. There's a moment of silence that they ask that you respect, because when you take the medicine, it takes about anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour for the effects to start kicking in. So, in that process, we're practicing complete silence. Complete silence. We're not to touch anyone, converse with anyone. You're in your process. You're going in and you're sitting with the medicine. What they do work at Rhythmia, what they do have, which I really did appreciate, and once you're going through the process, you really understand why they do this. They give you three intentions to work with. So on the first day, Monday, the intention is show me who I've become, which is amazing because, it's not show me who I am, it's show me who I've become. So the medicine will give you an opportunity to show up as a mirror, to really take a look at yourself and see if, are you content with the person you've become, to get real with yourself. It can be a very confronting process.
And you know what? For me, I did theater more than 10 years. Then I feel sometimes there is a disconnection of who you become, so the person that you are, right? And the person you think you are. Because
Exactly.
sometimes is I can see in people that they think they are done one way and the rest of people see something totally different, right? Then
Yeah, exactly.
I think I relate to what you're saying. Then the question is, do you really see yourself like in another, like from outside or from another perspective?
You can, and sort of the magic of the medicine, is that they really drill this into arrhythmia. The medicine gives you what you need, not what you want. So you come in with this intention, and some people come in with all these expectations. They're ready to see visions and do all these crazy things, and the medicine won't always come to you in that form. Like, the purging is not a have to. It's just one of the many ways that the medicine can work through you to clean you, to help you have your process. So the medicine gives you what you need, not what you want. So when you set up this intention, show me who I've become, there's some people that will feel nothing all night. And again, sometimes it's an opportunity that the medicine is giving you to really take a look at what that brings up inside of you. The whole process is about self-reflection. So the medicine gives you what you need so that you can go to that place inside of yourself so that you can better see yourself.
I guess I'm trying to understand because I understand what you're saying, but there is something that how do you? So first of all, did you experience something? I don't want the details of what you saw, right? Because that's personal to you. But what I mean, like, did you feel different? Did you feel like you were having visions, or you will feel like I don't know, like another person see a movie, like from the outside? What did you saw? I want, like
Yeah.
specific what you felt, right?
Okay, so I can share what I went through specifically, and I can also share with you the different ways that the medicine works with you, which they teach you. They teach you all of this here, which is wonderful. Like, they really do take the time to prepare you. So you're not going in blind and going, oh my God, what am I signing up for? Like this, roller coaster ride, and you don't even know what's going on. So there's four ways that the medicine can come through your work with you. One is through the body, and that could show up as purging, vomiting, diarrhea, yawning. I didn't realize the first night I was yawning so much. I thought, what's wrong with me? Why am I so tired? I was yawning so much. And then I learned, yeah, that's a way of purging. That's one of the ways that the medicine works through you. Because part of my personal intention was they say that the medicine hears you. And I said, I am here to learn. I'm here with all the humility in the world. I'm here trusting, and I would just ask that you please be gentle with me. It's the only that was my intention. So the first night was extremely gentle for me. I spent most of the night yawning. So it can show up as yawning and show.
Do you remember everything, or do you feel like sometimes you have like you lost?
I personally remember everything. I also had friends, well, now I consider them friends because we're all sharing this very intimate experience, and you definitely make connections with great people.
And I'm sure that
There's some people that don't
intense.
remember there's some people that don't remember what they did, or yeah.
No, I wanted to pick that up too because it's related to me with acting. And I feel like the experience, because it's so intense there, I'm sure that the intensity makes like you know them better. And like maybe in real time is not you know them like 10 years and maybe you only spend with them 1 week, but those experiences, they are so intense that maybe you feel like you know them, longer.
Absolutely. It's definitely one of those once in a lifetime experiences where you can build some very strong connections. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you are in the most intimate, vulnerable
No, no, I'm sure.
place
And
you could possibly be in, where you're exposing yourself in front of or next to, but everybody's being exposed, right? It's not like all eyes are on you. Everybody is there exposing themselves, so yeah, that can definitely create some.
And I have another question too. Did you feel, because sometimes you have the process, you are doing your own process and everybody's doing their own, but did you feel that you learn from others, seeing others or
Absolutely.
listening to others? Can you tell me,
Uh,
remember
Yes,
something?
yes. As a matter of fact, that's part of the classes that we have throughout the day before ceremony. The first one is an introduction to plant medicine, and they explain all these things to you. And then they have integration. So it's like I want to say mandatory, but yes, it's one of the classes they expect you to show up at, which is precisely to process and to integrate everything that each of us have experienced. So they'll ask you, did anybody feel this? Did anybody get this? And what did you make of it? Or what did you learn from it? Or what have you processed from it? And sometimes, you know, somebody might have a question about like, well, this showed up in my vision and I think it means this, but so everyone's having their process, and they do a very good job of guiding you. So in those regards, and yes, definitely something that somebody says could click for you and you go, oh my God. So the ceremony, yes, it's in the maloca. Yes, it's during this time. Yes, it's with the medicine, but you never stop learning. So that process keeps going with everything they offer. With the yoga, somebody could be sitting at yoga and all of a sudden have this profound insight and this profound experience that maybe they didn't get it in the maloca, but they got it at yoga or they got it at breath work. That could very well happen.
I feel those, I think those moments is the intuition, right? Because intuition is something that is a leap, it's a jump, it's boom, something like maybe you are sleeping the siesta, right? In the sofa and boom, I remember this, or now I find the solution, right? And those moments, the aha moments like these people you were saying, I think is come from because it doesn't come from the mind, right? It comes from nowhere.
Yes, and you said it so beautifully because I refer to them as insights or downloads. And so often, if you meet people who have worked with medicine, they'll refer to the downloads or the insights. And you're right, they don't come from the mind. So you're connecting a lot of dots. Like, everyone thinks that it has to be fireworks and dramatic and all these visions and you're running around, naked, crazy or whatever. And it doesn't have to be that way. So one of the things that I was left with, and one of my insights and one of my realizations that was very profound, considering the way that I was raised, is that maybe life doesn't have to be so hard, one. And two, the ceremony doesn't stop there. The ceremony is really once you've gained all this insight and all this wisdom, how are you going to apply it in your everyday life? That is the most important part. And that is the part that most people miss, which is why they stay stuck on speaking about the medicine like it was just this party they went to and they, tripped out for a while. And
Why do you think they miss that?
because that's the hardest thing to do. It's really easy to feel good when everything's going well. It's very different to transmute what needs to be transmuted, to take a look at the things that are going on inside of us when something's rubbing us the wrong way. So, yes, it's very easy to go in a mountain and be a monk and pray for extended periods of time. But just like many of the great masters, once you come down from the mountain and you're in the valley and you're with, in society, with the contrast, rubbing shoulders with everyone. Some people are awake, some people are not, or whatever the contrast. You're in the circus, you're in the rat race. That's the hardest thing to do. To apply all this wisdom and all this knowledge, it's useless if you're not actively doing something with it. And that is the hardest part because, and it's true, the moment you're in the airport again, remove yourself from this paradise and this beautiful experience, and you're at the airport, it's like it hits you like, oh my God, I'm back to reality. Now what?
And now you say that, now you're back in Coronado. What things then you learn from there are you trying to apply here?
Well,
If it's
definitely to keep breathing. So the breath is very important, and we think many of us underestimate the importance of our breathing and our breath. Ironically, if you take the word breathe, it comes from the root word espirar, which means spiritual. The breath is very powerful tool, and it's the one I feel that we take the most for granted because it's free to us and we have it with us from the moment we're born until the moment we die. So it is a very profound tool and it's very readily and accessible to us. So when we are confronted with something rubs us, something triggers us, it's going back to our breath, breathing through the process, just like you would if you were at ceremony and you're feeling the nausea and you're feeling like, oh my God, everything's coming up, sort of breathing through it. It's a practice. At the end of the day, it's a practice. Life is interesting enough, with everything, all its diversity and all of its challenges. So learning how to navigate the storm without constantly just wishing that the storm wasn't there or saying, why me? Why am I in this storm? That is the real practice.
Yeah, I think what you're saying about the breathing, a lot of professionals, athletes, they
Yes.
use it to control tennis. I love tennis. Then tennis players, the Djokovic, he's one of the main things that he does. He control his. Then you can count. Even Navy SEALs, I heard, like when they're in situations like they try to count down, they have like a technique to breathe to be able to
Yes.
drop the heart rate. But yeah, I understand.
Breathing is incredibly important. The other thing that I took from my experience is the importance of healthy boundaries. And I think this is especially true for women, but I think it's something that is just the nature of the beast, the way society has been developing over the years, over the decades. We, especially, like I said, as women, but it could be anyone, right? We tend to focus so much on making sure that everybody around us is okay. Women tend to be innately nurturing people, so it's even back, when we were cavemen and cave women, the men would go out and hunt, and women would stay back in the village and tend to the elderly and tend to the young and make sure hardwired to want to make sure that everybody is doing well. And in the process, we tend to really lose our autonomy. We really tend to lose ourselves. So, one of the things that I walked away with is the importance of healthy boundaries because if we're over giving, then and it's something you hear a lot, you hear it and you hear it and you say, oh yeah, that makes sense, that makes a lot of sense, you can understand it here, but until you really feel the process and really feel the price that you're paying or the cost of not tending to your needs first, it's not in a selfish way, it's not in a narcissistic way, it's simply, if I'm a lighthouse, I need to make sure that this instrument is clean first before I can
I think
shine my light.
you are giving one of the things. So I feel like society tell us like, no, you can be thinking yourself like, but you're selfish, and it's not that you're selfish. And I think you need to be first, then you will be feeling good, and if you're feeling good, you can be the best version of yourself with others too, right?
Yeah,
Then yeah.
absolutely. So that's why people leave these retreats feeling so high on life and so excited and so great because they have literally just devoted an entire week to themselves. Like, really, an entire week to themselves with yoga, with breath work, with all these magnificent tools. Like, you're really filling up your cup. So you go back to the circus and you're like, now my job is to try to keep my cup as full as possible, as long as possible.
I feel as a European, you have another kind of way of looking at life. I think, but I feel when you're a kid, they use all the time. So teach you how to use your mind and constantly learning and doing things and making money and da 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 da. Because you don't disconnect from there, you don't give yourself that time to do. Even if you go to yoga here, you go running and "Oh, I need to go to yoga. And I think, like I heard, like I don't know who said it, but basically, if you're going running to yoga, you're missing the point.
Yes, that's a great yes. And that's the reason why I was really impressed and surprised that the main focus of the retreat wasn't so much the medicine. Yes, that's the vehicle that they're using. That is the tool, the instrument that they're using, but the focus was more on self-reflection and on being present. So if you're having breakfast and you're just not in the right, somebody says something and it didn't jive with you. What they really drill into you there is the questions, asking the important questions. How does this make me feel? Do I normally feel this way on a day-to-day basis? When was the first time that I remember feeling this way? So it's really about getting into the habit of putting the mirror up to your own face, because everything that happens outside of us ultimately is a reflection of us. And those are very spiritual, very profound perspectives.
Do you think, because for me my
Mhm.
ayahuasca was theater, right? Then something that I realized is, like I was saying before, they teach us how to use the mind all the time, books in the school, blah blah blah, learn, but nobody teach you how to express your feelings, right?
Mm.
Then do you think is because we don't know what we're feeling? We don't scan ourselves, and if we don't know how we're feeling, how we're gonna express it, how we're gonna correct it, right?
I think that's a great question, because my tendency is to want to widen the lens and look at the big scope of things. So if you want to make the lens a little smaller and look at how it shows up in society, I think it's very fair to say that in general, boys are taught to not feel too much, to just toughen up. Boys aren't allowed to cry, that sort of mentality. It's like the word that's being tossed around nowadays is this toxic masculinity, right? This patriarchy that we've been working with for so long. My father grew up saying that emotions are the enemy. Like, emotions are the enemy. So that's how I was raised. But if you want to peel back the layers a little bit and widen the lens a little bit, what I'm understanding, which makes a lot of sense to me anyways, this perspective that there are two energies that are sort of dictating the world. It's a masculine and feminine energy, and we all have those energies inside of us. And they're representative of our mind and our heart. So the feminine is the heart, which are emotions, and the mind is the rational mind that makes sense of those emotions. They're both equally necessary, but the heart is really the key to enlightenment or transmutation, or those aha moments that you're talking about, epiphanies, or those downloads or those insights. They come through the heart first, and then we make sense of it with the mind.
They say that the mind is it should be your servant, not your master.
Exactly. Exactly. You can't serve two masters at the same time. And so when we've been serving this master for too long, hence it
Well,
shows
sorry,
up
but
in.
they didn't teach us another way to,
No, no, no. This is
you know,
generational. This is not just us.
as
This has
is.
been coming for a
Mm.
long time. And you can see it, the evidence of it is in the advancements that we've had in technology. A lot of that is from the mind. There's brilliant
Everything,
minds,
everything.
Einstein. There are some really brilliant minds out there that have really revolutionized the way that we are in society, and have made all these advancements. But in that process, we have strayed further and further and further from our heart. So from the part of us that makes us human. So now there's this trend of the future is feminine, the future is feminine. In this contrast, in this pool that we're seeing, it's only natural that there's going to be a tendency to want to reconnect. You use the word disconnect, and that's exactly right. We have disconnected. We have been pulling these two opposites for so long, like a rubber band, and now we're really feeling the contrast of this. So, it, that's definitely one of the things that this medicine can help integrate is reconnecting with your true essence. The second intention that they use is merge me with my soul at all costs. At all cost. And that could be a little scary for some people because we've built this all this we've built our lives around ego and around, trying to make sense of things, but to merge with our true essence, to merge with our true nature, to merge back to our soul, that could be a very profound impact. And there's people that will experience this once in their life and will send them on a very different trajectory for the rest of their lives. It's like a one and done. They don't need to keep coming back and, peeling back the layers. They will have such a profound experience that's all they needed to hear. So I think, and especially now with AI coming up, I think it's going to be, I mean, think about it. We have given this so much priority that we have conceived and birthed an entire new species of AI, and it's all coming from here. I think in the future there's gonna be uh, the things that make us human are gonna become much more valuable because they're gonna be so much more scarce, like diamonds, right? We're gonna turn into diamonds, and the ability to reconnect with our true essence is gonna be that much more valuable. And ayahuasca is definitely a great way to do it.
Great. No, no, I agree. I agree. I think it's a great point, and I feel like going back what I was saying when I was in theater, they used. I realized because they used to ask me, "Hey, Luis, seated and 20, 30 people, and how do you feel in one word?"
Mm.
I don't know. Nobody. So I didn't know. I don't know how do I feel. And in one word, are you crazy? I was like, nobody taught me ever how do I feel. I never asked me that question, right? Then that's
Mm.
what happened. And a lot of times you get pissed, you get mad, right? And you don't even know why because you don't know how you're feeling. And like you said, I everything is more mind, 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 mind. And mine is good in business. Mine is good. It's not a bad thing, but
No.
you need to know how or when disconnected, right? And we don't know when to switch off that mind. If you get inside of that, when it's a bad thing, and you need to know when to disconnect it. And yeah, I agree with you. Then maybe back to the roots, and in the future, all of these things, they will create more value.
Yes, there's definitely, I mean, I was very impressed to know that Rhythmia hold their retreats are a week long and they hold retreats every week of the year. I mean, if you do the math, every week of the year, and there's like 50 plus, 50 to 100 people going every week of the year, you can imagine how many people are desperate for answers and they're desperate to feel that connection again to who they really are. They're tired of being tired, they're tired of being medicated, they're tired of not finding solutions, they're tired of feeling like they're just hitting a wall all the time. And there's definitely people that you know, we'll revisit and revisit because we're like onions. There's layers to be peeled, and some people's processes are much more gentler than others. But yes, the mind and the heart connection, ultimately, it's a team effort. But like you said, it's always keep in mind which one goes first. And the energies, like you said, masculine, feminine energies, the feminine is supposed to be have this direct line to the divine, right? Like you said, intuition. We get straight orders from something that's far bigger than us, and it doesn't have to be necessarily something so mystical. If you look at Joe Dispenza, and he's really taken all the mysticism out of this. He's more into like the quantum science behind all of this, and he can very easily explain the importance of the heart and mind coherence. So there's a dance, it's a coherency, but it starts in the heart and then it goes through the mind. So it's like the feminine flows with, connects, she's all about the feelings. And then the man's energy is, or the masculine energy is to execute. So it's like the female has the insight and she gives the orders, and the masculine energy is, let's make it happen, let's execute this. That is the perfect synchronicity.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
Then for anybody that is considering going, what can you tell them? You should do it, and like what you would tell them? What do
Buckle
you say?
up. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think anybody who's curious about it, They say that the medicine calls you. It calls to you. So I think if you're curious about it and you're feeling really stuck and you're feeling like you're not getting anywhere, if you feel like you're ready, like it's your time, I 100% feel that this is the best place to do it. I mean, I don't think you could be in a safer environment. You're supported, you're doing it with other people. It's in a beautiful place, it's in paradise. Actually, there's a documentary coming out right now on Gaia that is taking place at Rhythmia. So, if anybody wants more information or they can get curious about it,
I will make sure
that's
after I
available
can
now.
put information there, like
Yes.
everybody knows where
Yeah, I
what place
think
we are
they're
talking
on.
about.
Yes, it just started. I think they're on episode 3 or something like that. And I'm watching it at home feeling nostalgic, like, "Oh,
I
I
want to
wish
be
I could
there.
go back already. I just came back, but I wanna be there already again." Yeah, so this is definitely the place to do it. And they have incentives, sometimes they have discounts going on and that sort of thing. They also have a scholarship program, so they were very clear about not wanting to have to turn someone down if they're under some sort of financial crisis or something. So
Oh, that's a good
they've
thing to
even
know.
taken that into account. So, um, so yeah, there's different ways of getting there, and I think if you're feeling called to do something like this, absolutely do it here, and they'll take care of you. It'll be a profound and a profound experience, and like somebody said, this could be a game changer.
I am a positive person. Then I hopefully places like this help, in the future to become that
Yes,
way.
absolutely.
Then, well, thank you very much. Before we go, I wanted to. We live in Coronado. I wanted to know what is your favorite part of living here.
Oof, that's easy. I think for me, it's more of this. It was, it's great have living by the beach and that sort of thing. But for me, it's this sense of community. I think that is the most important thing, and it's part of what's sort of being lost now with social media. And again, going back to where the trends have taken us, sort of this disconnection. So for me, the most valuable part of Coronado is feeling like it's this small town. There's a sense of community. So, you know your neighbors. And I mean, I grew up in the US and I don't think it was very rare for us to know who our neighbors were. And we moved around a lot growing up. So for me, that's the most valuable thing of Coronado,
Yeah,
the sense
even
of
with the kids,
community.
right? With the kids, I feel like
Yes,
my
the
son he
kids.
goes in the street, and, hey, what's up,
Yeah.
Jason? What's up?
Exactly.
Like he
It's like
knows
you're back in
everybody.
the
It's like,
50s.
yeah,
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 you see kids playing in their front yards. Like, where else do you see that in San Diego or in many parts of the country now? So I feel like in those regards, we're very privileged here, and that to me is worth gold.
right.
The community here.
And two quick questions: favorite
Yes?
coffee, favorite restaurant.
Ooh, favorite coffee. Well, ironically enough, I don't drink coffee here because it irritates my stomach, but I do drink the coffee in Costa Rica because it's amazing. And I
I
bring
try it.
back a bunch of
You gave it to me. I try. It's really good.
I brought back more bags, so I'll be sure to give you a new bag.
I will
Yeah,
remember you.
the coffee there is spectacular. So lately I've been on this matcha binge. So I prep my own matcha at home with a little bit of coconut milk. But if I'm eating out, I'm really loving my two favorite places are Parakeet Cafe and Clayton's French Bistro. But since I'm back from this retreat now, I'm gravitating more towards Parakeet Cafe. I think
In the
they're
future, I would like to interview the owners because I heard really cool story about how they opened the restaurant. They have a really cool story to tell. And hopefully one day I can talk
yes.
to them.
And that is definitely the closest thing that I have seen on the island to how we were eating at Rhythmia, and it's just very clean, very wholesome food, and they have such a great variety on their menu, and it's excellent. I love it.
Good, good. Well, Alejandra, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully one day I can do it too. I look forward for it because something that I miss asking you, I feel life is not black or white, no? Like even if you are desperate to find something like for a person that maybe he's good, he's happy, but maybe he wants to look into it. Do you recommend it too, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it, it everybody is having their own journey, their own experience through life, and this has nothing to do with, you know, comparison or competition or anything like that. But if you're a naturally curious person, or you're naturally spiritual person, or you simply have these like unsettling feelings, like you're being called to something.
Curiosity.
Yeah, curiosity. Yeah, if you feel a calling to it, you're right. You don't have to be a person that is like in a very desperate situation. The simple fact that you have a curiosity is your spirit letting you know that there's something there for you. So absolutely explore it. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hopefully see you soon and we talk. I would like to talk more about, because I feel like you're a person that you did a lot of stuff and you try new things, spiritually talking. Even that the podcast is going to be more too about business. I think we need a balance with mind and soul. Then hopefully we can talk another day and another experience that you had.
Oh, absolutely. I have so many of them. I'm a
Okay,
very curious person. So
good.
yes.
Okay,
Even with this trip, there's just so much to share, but it's absolutely one of those things that you kinda have to see it, experience it, It's like trying to explain chocolate to somebody who's never tasted it.
maybe one day, bunch of people from Coronado, we go, all
Yes,
of
that
us to
would be
Costa Rica,
amazing.
right? Yeah, hopefully.
Absolutely, that would be amazing. That would be incredible.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day and see you soon. Okay, Alejandra?
Thank you,
Take care.
likewise. Thank you for
Bye bye.
having me.
Bye.
Bye.